Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we're talking about the Lakers and the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. This is going to be the fourth meeting of the year for the Lakers and the Grizzlies. I believe the Memphis probably won 2 out of 3 of there. I'm not certain. I didn't check. But nevertheless, we got to win this one, and that's for darn sure. We know Ja Morant, our favorite Second Amendment right owner, is definitely going to not play in this game. He checked into some type of rehab, so we wish him the best. Salute. I've talked enough about that. I ain't gonna spend no time in this particular video addressing that at all. We're just happy he ain't gonna be out there trying to play against us, because he killed us last time real bad. 39 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and a Laker loss, and we thought we should have won. We didn't use our rotations in a way that we agree with on this channel, and you know, hopefully we'll have a better idea about how to rotate today. Now, Dillon Brooks was suspended for the last game for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Clippers. The Clippers did, in fact, get that victory. I think it was 135, 129 or something like that. And so that they were significantly undermanned because of that. Ja and Brooks were out. Brooks will be back. So, you know, Desmond Bane went for 30 points in that game. As you can see, it was a barn burner. But at the end of the day, for me, and looking at that situation, that was the only game they've played without Ja since all this happened. They were able to score 129 points or whatever it was. This is not a team that's deficient without Ja Morant at the point guard position. Tyus Jones came in and got 25 and 12 in that game. And just like I always tell people, when Ja's not out there, he just basically steps up and shows everybody he's actually a starting point guard who's never had an opportunity to get that starting position. Just like a lot of guys around the league. Just like I said about Naz Reid, who's very much good enough to play starting minutes, but has always been in a role that allows for him to be behind somebody. So, ironically enough, he was also in Minnesota with him doing that, and then since been traded to Memphis a couple years back and has been balling every single time Ja's not out there. And Ja does miss a lot of time with injury. And, of course, now he's going to be out indefinitely. So this is a chance for Tyus Jones to step up and once again reclaim the truth, which he is a starting point guard. And I expect for him to continue his hot scoring and assist ways against us, because that is who he is. Those stats are actually who I think Tyus Jones has always been. He just buried behind people in Minnesota and then shipped off to Memphis, like I said, to be played behind Ja. But he's not to be toyed with at all. Him and Desmond Bane are going to shoot threes, they're going to hit shots, and they're going to make life hard on us if we let them. So let that be understood. Obviously, Dillon Brooks as well. I don't know how they want to rotate their starting point guard position without Ja Morant. Desmond Bane maybe plays the 3. I don't really know how they do it. I'm not really sure, but I don't ever think that they have Brooks playing the 1. So I don't know if that moves Bane to the 2, since I think he's a natural 2, or do they always have him at the 3? I just don't know Memphis like that. But I see Desmond Bane as a 2, and I thought they used him as their starting 2. But maybe not. Maybe he always has been a 3. I don't know, but we're going to look for that tonight. Zaire Williams is somebody they're going to it's somebody I know can play, but it's somebody they're not using very much. And I'm always poised for him to be used and play well, because he's a high-level lottery talent. He's never shown me that he's anything less than really, really, really gifted. And just like Tyus Jones, he's been stuck in Memphis the whole time, so he hasn't really had a chance to step forward. He was dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. In the last game, I think he got like 5 minutes. In the game before, he didn't play at all. But I know that if they call his number, he's more than capable of doing good things. More than capable. So Zaire Williams is always somebody I pay attention to on the Memphis Grizzlies, whether they're using him or not. And if for some reason they let him go, he needs to be on this roster. That's what I want to say. Unfortunately enough, we still got more injury issues to talk about between both teams. Of course, the Lakers are missing some guys. LeBron James, obviously. He'll be back in a couple weeks, we hope. Anthony Davis is probable with the foot. He played amazingly in the last game. We do expect him to suit up. D'Angelo Russell is questionable after missing about 5 games with a rolled ankle. Questionable is good. Hopefully we can get him out there. And Mo Bamba, as I suspected, that ankle wasn't ready to go. He's not exactly the most durable guy. So ankles, miss games. It is what it is. On the Memphis side, of course, Ja. Obviously he's going to be out indefinitely. And then Brandon Clark tore his Achilles in the last game in the first quarter or something like that. Real terrible stuff. And had the surgery for that. So he's out for the season, probably next to as well. Jake LaRavia, and I put the R on there, rolled R for no reason. Jake LaRavia is going to be questionable, I believe. He's a role player that they use. And of course, we know that Steven Adams is out with the knee. So Memphis is severely undermanned, but they are getting Dillon Brooks back. I cannot talk today. And that is not a good thing for the LA Lakers, because we know how well he guards the perimeter. and we've had some issues getting Malik Beasley going. You know, that's the thing. Malik Beasley has not shot well, but he's shot a lot. So with Dylan Brooks coming back, that can be a bit of a headache for us, given the fact that one of the reasons why we couldn't get nothing going against Memphis is because we couldn't get nothing going with Beasley, who was being guarded very well, extremely well, particularly against Minnesota. They really did a grand job against him. So we just want to see him get it back on track. You know, I read something that said he's averaging 8 3-point attempts a game, 8 3-point attempts a game. We got to scale that back if he's not going to hit no more than 2 or 3 of them. We don't need that many possessions lost to 3-point shots that we barely rebound. So I want us to scale back on his attempts if he's not going to be hot. If he's hot, let him shoot 12, 13, 15. He can win the game for us. But if he's cold, he will definitely shoot us out of it, and we've already seen that. So it's important that we utilize him and everybody else properly, period. Now, we made a whole video yesterday on Rui Hachimura. Talked a lot about how he's been kind of not used correctly, I guess you could say. And much has been said about how we want to play him at the 3 on this channel, but you know, we use him at the 4, backup 4 a lot of the time, and it just doesn't give us enough defensive-minded players on the floor in the front court to help us most of the time. We need, as we always say, a regular rotation of Vanderbilt, AD, Bamba, and of course Bron and Wenyen to hold us down in that position. Not necessarily Rui Hachimura or Troy Brown or even worse, Lonnie Walker, or Austin Reeves, and all these other different players that he's tried at the 4 throughout this season. There's only 4 players we really want playing the 4 active right now. Well, 3 with Bamba being out, and that's Vanderbilt, AD, and of course Wenyen Gabriel, whom he never plays at the 4 ever. He always wants to play him at the 5 when I think he's going to be just as good at the 4 as he is at the 5. In fact, more impactful given the fact that, of course, he's defensive, and the person you would put next to him in this case would also be defensive. But we never do that. We always leave Wenyen out there with Rui Hachimura, and it just keeps on being a problem. It keeps being a problem. That is not a front court. Rui Hachimura and Wenyen Gabriel are not a viable NBA front court. Those are 4s. Okay, Rui's a 3, who should be a 4 in most situations, but it's a 3 on our team based on how our team is constructed. We just ain't using them that way. Or backup 4, 3rd string 4, 2nd string 3, if you're doing it correctly. Maybe even not even 2nd string, considering who all can play the 3 as well. So Rui just has to be utilized correctly. It's hard to find ways to get him his shots. It's hard to find ways to get him to be contributing other than rebounding and scoring. And since his shot is off, he ain't really contributing as much as you'd want to see him do. But at the same time, you also can pick out a handful of games since the trade that if he wasn't down there doing what he did, you lost. And that's a really strange conundrum, or a really strange occurrence to look at when you consider how much he struggled. You look 2 games ago against the Minnesota Timberwolves. You tell me what would have happened if he wasn't out there. You know, it's just simple as that. If you watch the games, you know what I'm talking about. He was needed. And in the game he had 3 blocks a couple days ago, he was needed. So we just need him to find ways of contributing more of those things, rebounding more, and then getting in positions to take the shots that he can take, and not taking shots that are just going to, keep his efficiency down. We have him taking low efficiency shots, weird 3-point shots from weird angles, stuff that just doesn't necessarily make him the best he can be. So that's what I want to see from Rui. Put him in better situations, and I'm pretty sure you'll get more out of him. He needs more playing time, but not at the 4. So this is what it is. Lonnie Walker, same thing. I want Lonnie Walker to be playing, but we got to utilize him properly. We played him in the 4th quarter. I don't remember what game it was, but it didn't work out. We lost, so it had to have been the Minnesota game, because that's the only game we've lost lately. But yeah, it just didn't work out. We needed to use Austin Reeves more. We did that in the previous matchup, and he brought it home. He did fantastic for us. He hasn't missed too many shots at all since the All-Star break, and with him giving us 8 assists in the last game, I think it was a testament to what it is that we know he can do, which is facilitate the basketball, and amongst other things, obviously, but particularly for this team, with what we have going on, we need that from him. Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, those are our playmakers until D'Lo is 100%. I do expect D'Lo, if he's available to play, would probably be on some type of minutes restriction, even though that's not something that's been reported. It's just something you expect. So we're still going to need Austin Reeves to play a lot, play well, and give us more of that efficiency that he's been giving us since Bron been out. You know, Vanderbilt was fantastic in the last game. We talked about how much he rebounded the ball, you know, helped in scoring in situations like that. I heard something that DTLF said. I don't know if I've mentioned it on this camera or not, but I haven't. I don't think I have, but I do want to explore if it makes sense or not using Vanderbilt at the 3. Usually when I say, hey, I want AD on the floor, or Bamba and AD on the floor, or Bamba and Winion on the floor, a lot of times I've just assumed that one of those 3 players have to not be on the floor. But I figure if I'm willing to try, Rui Hachimura at the 3, then why not try Vanderbilt at the 3 just the same? So DTLF actually brought that up, and I'm like, I never thought about putting Vanderbilt at the 3. But when you consider that he does have a set 3-point shot, that's not the deficiency. You know, I mean, he's not a 3-point shooter, but it's not like he hasn't already hit maybe 2 or 3 since putting on the uniform. So it's like, that's really what it's about for me. Can the guy in the corner, which is a lot of times where the 3-point shooter is going to be, the 3 is going to be, your small forward is going to run to one of them corners, can he operate from those corners? That's how I understand it. If he can't operate from the spaces he's going to be in, then he probably shouldn't be your 3. So that's what I question. Could Vanderbilt operate from some of those positions he's going to be in at the 3? So that's just my own understanding of the game. It's probably much more nuanced than that. And I'm pretty sure if you put a baller like that on the floor, he'll make something happen no matter what position he's in. But given the fact that he guards all positions, it's not like you're afraid to put him on 3s. You're certainly not. So the question is whether or not he can be okay offensively at the 3 spot. I'm curious about it because I don't think our team makes a whole lot of sense the way we're using it with that position, the 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 3. I don't think we're using our front court as well as we would like to. And so rather than trying to mull over how best to fit Rui in there, with respect to Rui, just move him out of there and just put Vanderbilt down there and put AD down there and put Winion down there, and then give ourselves the best possible defensive length team we can have. Now, you do slim down your options for putting in your 4 once you overuse those guys, especially if they get in foul trouble. You're in trouble. But these are just options, you know. It's not necessarily something you get married to. But Troy Brown holds down the 3 very well. Austin Reeves can hold down 3 some. I don't like Lonnie at the 3, but we tend to put him there sometimes. We got Devon Reed, who has yet to get any minutes, and I think that's a mistake because I think we might be having a player with some lockdown ability that we're not even going to. And I just think that might be a mistake. That might be a mistake, you know? So that's just what I want to see. You know, obviously Max Christie's not being developed properly on this team this year. That needs to be said. He's better than what we've played him at. I know he'll get plenty of opportunities in the future, but I want him to get his opportunities right now. As a Laker fan, I don't want to wait. And that's just unfortunate that we have so much depth that we can't play him. So it's not like I think people are doing anything wrong by not playing him, because I think at the end of the day, he probably would be pushed down the depth chart if I was the coach too. I'm just saying what I wish was possible. He needs more minutes. You know what I'm saying? What else? I'm not the only person who said this. Everybody's saying it. Lakers, you really should have called up Scottie Pippen Jr. while all of this was going on with D'Lo. We did win those games, but we left ourselves with only one playmaker. And since D'Lo's not 100% healthy, it's still, you know, something that probably should be done. Whether D'Lo's back or not, we probably want another point guard in our position right now. So, yeah, AD, man, that's what it's all about. Talked about everybody but Anthony. Anthony was the king of the last game. He held us down big time, both sides of the floor, took the clutch baskets necessary to let it all lean on his efforts, and that's what it's about. If you're making $200 million for the Los Angeles Lakers, it shouldn't be nobody else shooting the ball at the end of these basketball games. It shouldn't be. And so that's what I want to see from Anthony Davis. Continue to carry us. We need to continue to feed him the ball. And also, I think it was Trevor Lane who mentioned this, and I think it's very, very relevant. I don't remember if it was him or not. It might have been the Kaminsky brothers. I listen to so many Laker people, forgive me, but I like giving people credit because these are tea leaves we use. But I think it makes a lot of sense to continue to explore Anthony Davis's passing ability, because we have been down facilitators, and he is going to be holding the ball a lot if we know what we're doing. He's going to have it in his hands, and some of those plays should be made for others so he's not so predictable in regards to scoring the ball. Plus, since we need the facilitating, it stands to reason why we would ask him to do a little more. He had 6 assists in the last game. I would love to see him duplicate that tonight. He don't have to get more than that because that's not his game. He's not a passer. You don't expect him to get triple doubles. But if I think, and I thought about this when it was said that he had done some good passing in that last game, I think that given the fact he was a point guard before he had his growth spurt, that's just a part of his game that he probably just didn't continue to work on. And if he would have, probably really good at it. Not only that, but I think his form is just fine. And he's hit some clutch three-point shots that we've seen him hit more than once, including Western Conference Finals in the bubble against the Nuggets. And another playoff game where he had a fall-away three-point shot falling on the ground back with the New Orleans Hornets, Pelicans, which I ain't forgot about. That was an incredible shot there. So I know he can hit the three. I know he can hit it a lot if he practices it a lot, just like I know he can make some good assist games and have some fantastic passes like he did in the last one if he continues to work on it. And what I was going to say is he's 29 or 28 right now. I could totally see a world where Anthony Davis is getting triple-doubles every once in a while at 31 years of age if he starts working on his facilitating skills right now. There's still upside in that particular area for a guy like Anthony Davis, who's left a lot of assists on the board historically. I think he can make up some of that with our team going forward because we need him to without LeBron James. So get a couple more assists over these next 17 games, AD, and as you get into the playoffs, become more and more prevalent with helping your players around you get more scoring opportunities, and I'm pretty sure it'll take some of that defensive pressure off of you, making us a much more dangerous basketball team on the offensive side. So let's keep exploring Anthony Davis's playmaking. Like I said, he ain't no Jokic. You don't want him, he's not a passer. But if we can get him to create plays for others enough, it will definitely make the difference for all that we're trying to do. So I think that's worth saying. Dennis Schroeder, I love what I've seen from Dennis Schroeder, but I'm telling you, last night when I was thinking about our team, there's something that hit me like a ton of bricks. Dennis Schroeder's ankle needs rest, and he probably should be sitting tonight. Even if he's good to go, you should limit his minutes tonight because the ankle, he's played on it, he's fighting through the injury, and it's not probably healing as well as it should because of it. And I know he's fighting through the pain because he's playing for a bag, and he doesn't have the same relationship with the circumstances that other players do, given the fact that he almost had a huge bag with us and turned it down. So I know Darvin Ham, his boy from Atlanta, and he making sure he's getting his minutes. Dennis Schroeder, I want to see him get his bag, and I hope he gets all that he can out of this circumstance to get that for himself. With that being said, we can't overuse him and run him into the ground, especially when he's playing through pain and playing through injury. Everybody's got a rolled ankle. I think the only reason why he's thugging it out is because everybody has a rolled ankle. His ankle needs to be rested because we're going to need him for more games going forward. And if he has another setback with that ankle, it's our fault because we did not respect that just because he's played through injury for 2 games does not mean that injury doesn't now need rest. That's what I'm saying to you. Just because he played through it for 2 games does not mean that it can't afford to heal some more. Or, even worse, won't have another role because it's not healing properly. So, please consider limiting Dennis Schroeder's minutes tonight. It ain't got nothing to do with how he's played or nothing. I just want him to rest because I know he's thugging it out because other people are messed up. So, we need him healthy, period. We need him healthy. And we got the guards. That's another thing. Look at all these guards we got we're not using. Try Max Christie tonight for that. Try Lonnie a little more for that. You feel me? Try Devon Reed tonight for that. That way you can get those players on the floor, see what they can do, rest Dennis Schroeder, all in one flurry. And I know people are saying it's a must-win game, and it is. And we will use Dennis Schroeder, but not as much if I'm running things. That's all I'm saying. Not as much. Malik Beasley, hopefully he has it going tonight, so that'll help with that. But we just need to get Schroeder off the floor, so period, so his ankle can heal. What else, man? Mo Bamba's going to sit. You guys already know that. That's going to mess with our rotation. We'll probably see more of what I hate at the 4 spot by default. It's nobody's fault this time, just like I said in the last game. When you remove one of those players, you don't have the options that we love to forego. So we will see some smaller lineups tonight, and hopefully with the absence of Brandon Clark and John Moran, it won't hurt as much. Okay, Luke Kennard is on this team now, and he's shooting the ball like he's always shot the ball. Luke Kennard is a real shooter, man, and I don't know that they have any deficiencies from behind the arc when you consider Desmond Bane and Luke Kennard. Those two alone could go for 6 apiece and shoot you out of it. Ja or not. And that's what I want to say about this team. They got players like David Roddy and Kenny Lofton and, Williams. Both of the Williams. They got 2 Williams. They got guys, man. This is the thing about Memphis. They're just like us. They draft very well. So that means when guys get removed for the lineup, that just means other players get to step up and show that they can do something. I don't think I've ever said this man's name correctly, but Santi Aldana. I know I mess up his name, but I know exactly who he is. I know exactly what he can do. He should be available tonight shooting the ball for them as well. He's a dangerous player, man. I tell you guys this every time we see Memphis. That's a dangerous player. He can shoot the ball at a very, very high clip. He just does a lot of intangible things that now that Brandon Clark is out, they probably will be leaning on him to do a little more. Now, like I said, they got Lofton and Roddy. And we know Lofton and Roddy, if you follow Memphis close enough, you know those guys are productive if they get minutes. So it's just an opportunity opening up for some really good players to show that they can pop a little bit in their rookie season. So I expect them to both to play well if they get their number called. But you can't forget about Santi Aldana. You can't forget about the rest of that bench because they will be coming at you tonight. So Desmond Bane is always the problem. He had 30 points against the Clippers, as I already mentioned. He's a heck of a three-point shooter. It's buff Reggie Miller. There's no limit to his upside, in my opinion. He could be one of the greatest shooters. You just got to respect that dude, man. He's going to drive at you. We tried to put Troy Brown on him in the last game that we played them, and we talked a lot about how he really did take advantage of Troy Brown. Thing is, Troy Brown ain't played bad since. Troy Brown has been great ever since that. And so, it's up and down with Troy, but Troy's had some about two games in a row, 3 games in a row where he's been very solid for us, if not really, really good. So hopefully we can see a much better display from Troy Brown, who's been more confident, against a guy who cooked him in the last game. Cooked him. Damn it, he cooked you, bro. So make up for it, and I know you will because you've been balling out. His rebounding helped us a lot. That elbow rebounding from Troy Brown has been key. And we need everybody else to follow suit. Troy Brown, Anthony Davis, and Vanderbilt have really been rebounding that ball like crazy, man. And we're definitely going to need that against Jaren Jackson, of whose name I haven't mentioned. But damn it, he's everything in regards to this game. Jaren Jackson and whoever else they got in that front court, man. That's really what it is. They're a bit thin. That's what we're saying. Adams out, Brandon out. So they're thin, but you still got to deal with Jaren Jackson, who may just be the defensive player of the year this year. All-star, three-point shooter, shot blocker, rebound monster, interior presence. He ain't getting no worse. And without John Morant, they're going to be leaning on him more. The key to him is to get him in foul trouble because he does foul too much. As long as you get him off the floor, they're going to be a little thin out there, as we're saying. So that's when we attack. Treat them like they're Dallas. Treat them like they're the Clippers. Run straight down the middle. And so that's what it is, because they don't have what they normally have, which was impossible to deal with, and that was that interior presence. So they're thinner now. We can do something with them. Just get him off the floor. So anyway, that's where my head is, man. Hopefully D'Lo can give us some play tonight. But D'Lo's one of those guys where if he's not 100%, he may be a liability defensively. So we got to play it by ear. If you don't have it, sit him down. Because these are games we must win. We are in a 4-way tie with 3 different teams as of right now, and a 5th team in this flurry is 1 half game behind us, OKC, who also play, I think, the Blazers tonight, who's in this flurry. So it's like, you have to win. You have to win, and certain other teams have to lose, and we are all in the mix together. A couple of these teams ain't going to make the playoffs, so we're all fighting for it. So let it not be us that misses it. By taking advantage of a jawless, Adamless, Clarkless Memphis Grizzly team, that's, if we get this victory, will send them into 3rd place, if I'm not mistaken. Sacramento beat New Orleans last night, which put us in this tie, this 3-way, 4-way tie. So we need to do Sacramento a favor and return it by beating who they need us to beat to send them into the 2nd seed. So Sacramento, we hate you, but today we're going to do your bidding. That's pretty much what it is. We don't like the Beam, but we certainly like them a lot better than we like the Memphis Grizzlies over there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of Memphis while they're hobbled. That's exactly what we're going to do. I expect us to win this game, even though we are missing some guys. Anthony Davis is out there. Period. Anthony Davis is out there. And I know Jaren Jackson's out there, but Anthony Davis is out there. That's it. Salute to Kobe Minute. We're there. And we got to match them. Don't overshoot. Do not turn the ball over too much. We've been okay there. Got to try to get in the fast break. I don't know if that's necessarily a deficiency if we're winning, but you do want to have the threat of being in the fast break and forcing steals and getting into that often as possible. So with us averaging like 4 fast break points, 7 on another game, that's not who we've been, and I don't think that's who we want to remain. We got to get better in that area. 3-point shooting, we said a lot about perimeter defense. We don't like how we defend the perimeter. I don't expect I'm going to be pleased tonight if the changes aren't made to get us out of that drop coverage that we often go to. But just overall, I don't find us to be a very good perimeter defensive team. That's one of the biggest weaknesses that we've had since we've made this trade. We don't guard the perimeter very well. The Golden State Warriors were able to hoist up 52 3-point shots against us in the previous matchup. And because they missed about 40 of them things, we were able to walk out of there. Attacking them in the paint was helpful. Continuing to get buckets where they would brick them, letting them overshoot while we did what we did on the inside was ultimately key. They soften the middle just like Dallas, just like Memphis will be when Jaren sits down. So we got to, understand that, respect that, and move accordingly. So that's where my head is, man. I want to win this game as bad as I want to win any game there is, because if quite honestly, we're still in a space where we can't afford to lose any games. So the same intensity we had in the last several matchups needs to be the exact intensity we bring to every single one of these 17 left. And that is just what it is. 17 games left. You got to beat Memphis, whoever they have on the floor. Expect guys that you don't know to play well. They draft well. So whoever's on the floor is going to produce, just like you, LA. So take everybody seriously, guard everybody properly, and do your homework on who you're going to see, man. Find out who these extra dudes are that's going to be on the floor. Find out who Roddy is and what he does. Find out what Lofton does and what he's about. Study more of Santi. Study more of Tyus Jones. These are things I expect our coaching staff to be on top of. We're not running in the job, but it does not mean that you get a breath of fresh air. It's far from that. They dropped 129 points on the Clippers. They can drop 130 on you tonight. So that's why we got to stop them from doing so. That's pretty much the end of the story, man. I'm trying to figure out if there's any other players I want to mention on the Memphis team. There's obviously some guys I have not mentioned. But if you're taking care of business against Jaren Jackson, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bane, Luke Kennard, Tyus Jones, these are the guys that are coming at you tonight. Those are the ones. Those are the people. You know? And we'll see who else they give minutes to. But those are the individuals that the Lakers that we're sending out there are going to have to neutralize if they want to have a victory tonight. So that's their job. That's what we're holding them to do. And I believe in our Laker team, especially going up against a team like this that's undermanned and disarray, distracted, and all of that. They ain't got no business coming into a road game in LA after losing to the Clippers and beating the Lakers. Not the way we've been playing. Not after the fact they just had a game where Ja went for 39, 10, and 10 and didn't win by a whole lot. It wasn't like they tore the roof down in that game. They really didn't. We should have won that in our mind. So, just learn from our mistakes. Accept the fact that we're at a disadvantage with our size, so live with the small ball results. And that means guys like Rui Hachimura and Troy Brown got to step up and play whatever role they're given. Austin Reeves needs to continue to attack and be intent on passing and scoring and defending and closing out these offensive possessions for the other team. Flop, whatever you got to do. Close these possessions out. Same thing with Vanderbilt. Those are two other players that I can count on to break up these offensive plays. So when we have them on the floor together, you double down on that success. I want to see more Vanderbilt and Austin Reeves on the floor together. They break crap up. So that's what I want to say, man. Lean on the people who are playing well. I don't want to see Beasley and Schroeder for 40 minutes tonight, coach. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Rui Hachimura for 40 minutes tonight, coach. I don't. Let's diversify our roster, lean on the hot hand, and give our guys an opportunity to be healthy out there by utilizing all of them. We're undermanned. Utilize everybody. So that's where my head is, man. Game is at 7 o'clock tonight. Crypto.com arena. Memphis Grizzlies, no Ja. We owe them. They angered us by beating us in that last game. You know what I'm saying? And they've since self-destructed as a team, if you ask me. Ja Morant single-handedly self-destructed the team. And now we have an opportunity to beat them in circumstances that we never dreamed would be possible. After beating Steph Curry when he came back, which we didn't actually think was really going to happen either. So we're winning games. We have to win games, and that's just what it is. I think the Los Angeles Lakers are more than capable of doing what it is that's in front of them, especially if everybody's willing to play. Who can play? So that's what it is, D-Lo. That means you get your butt back out there, man. You're questionable. That means you're good enough to go as far as I can tell. We're playing for our playoff lives. You know, and while we know you've rested that thing wisely, we also know that those were two teams that you've been paid by over the last couple of times. These are two of the teams that made you very wealthy in this career. So I don't think you were too excited about playing against them for the Lakers. I don't think that. I think he was very happy to miss the Golden State game and the Minnesota game. And I'm pretty sure their fans are happy about that. But ours, you got to get out there. So that's pretty much it. That's what I got, man. Go Lakers. Let's get the victory. I want out of this 9th place. I don't want to play in the play-in tournament. I want out of the play-in tournament into the playoffs. That's our goal. Play-in tournament be damned. Playoffs. Get that 6th spot. BDL 44. I thank you all for watching. Wow.